have 2 audience members sitting and 1 recording. Good evening. Tonight I want to talk to you guys about anabolic steroids in athletes. Performance-enhancing drugs have been used in sports since the very first Olympics in 776 BC. Today I'm going to be focusing specifically on an anabolic steroid called testosterone. Testosterone is a hormone that is produced by both men and women, but it's produced more in the bodies of men than in the bodies of women. Testosterone is responsible for the creation of muscle mass, strong bones, development of a man's deeper voice, and sex drive. The use of testosterone in sports is considered cheating because it gives those who are using it an unfair advantage. When men reach the age of 30, their bodies naturally produce less and less testosterone. In Major League Baseball, the average age is about 30 years. So this means half of the players in the MLB are above the age of 30 and the other half are below. The younger half are producing more testosterone naturally, which to me seems like the same kind of unfair advantage. The use of testosterone by athletes should be legal. Steroid use has gotten a bad reputation. In fact, most people who say that they are against steroids actually know nothing at all about them or what they do for the body. The reality is, steroids like testosterone can actually be beneficial to athletes in more ways than one. Testosterone has been proven to improve heart and blood health, give you leaner body mass and stronger bones, as well as improving your mood and even help with a better libido. It has been proven that limited exposure to testosterone can continue to build muscles for a decade after use. A study was done by Norwegian scientists to examine the lasting effects of steroid use. This is the same team that published work about muscle memory. Muscle memory is a concept that says if people exercise when they're younger, their muscles will grow more easily when they exercise later in life. For the steroid experiment, they looked at the impact that a brief exposure of testosterone had on mice. The results showed that 3 months after the drug was withdrawn, their muscles grew 30% after just 6 days of exercise. The control group of mice saw an increase of 6% in the same time period. Professor Christian Gunderson from University of Oslo says, "It is rare to have data that clear-cut. I was pretty satisfied with that." He went on to explain that testosterone boosts the number of nuclei in the muscle fibers, leading to what would be about a 10-year lasting benefit for humans. Another good thing about steroids is that it speeds up muscle repair and recovery time after injury. Other than the long-term benefits that steroids have on humans, the substance also single-handedly saved the game of baseball and has made every other sport more interesting to watch and to be a part of. With the use of testosterones, pitcher can throw harder, batters can hit harder, and runners can test the very limits of human speed. Now, I want to discuss with you some myths about steroids that have been disproven. The first is steroids decrease endurance. Steroids, in actual fact, greatly increase endurance by creating a greater count of red blood cells. Red blood cells are one of the most important physiological components for athletes, especially endurance athletes. These cells are responsible for carrying oxygen to the body's tissues, including muscles. On a quick note, blood doping, which is the practice of increasing the numbers of red blood cells in the bloodstream, is illegal. However, altitude training, the practice of training for several weeks at high altitude to ultimately increase the count of red blood cells too, is legal. Alright, the next one I want to talk to you guys about is liver damage. Steroid users will be quick to tell you that injected steroids are a better method of taking than drugs that are orally digested. If taken orally, the steroid must pass through the liver, which could cause high levels of toxicity. However, this is not the case with all orally ingested steroids. Yet, why should steroids take such a bad rap in terms of liver side effects when millions choose to kill their liver with alcohol and various forms of prescription drugs, which, by the way, are legal. Such a stigma exists about steroids, whereby communities look down on the users. But why does the same stigma not exist about alcohol, even if they're just social drinking? Alright, another one is penis shrinkage. No, your penis will not shrink, although your testicles might. This is a common occurrence amongst anabolic steroid users. However, it is reversible. So, in other words, as soon as you end the cycle and you stop taking the steroids, the testicles will return to the normal size. Another is depression. The media has built up this one a lot. Misinformation is being exploited. Every report that has linked steroids with depression has been purely anecdotal. And in most cases, the individual has had previous mental imbalances. Increased testosterone levels have actually been proven to increase positive moods and decrease stress. Another one I want to talk to you guys about is stunted growth. It has been suggested that anabolic steroid use in teenagers leads to the premature closure of growth plates. Once again, there is no scientific proof for this claim. One needs to merely look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, who admitted to taking steroids at a very young age to see that steroids do not actually stunt your growth. That's not to say that Arnold should be taken as a 100% proof, but that coupled with no hard scientific data to prove such a claim should make this a myth. And the last big one that I want to talk to you guys about is roid rage, which I think we've all heard of. Best described in the documentary Bigger, Faster, Stronger, steroids will only amplify personality traits that you already have. The only studies that have come from steroids are those performed on rats. And the only difference between humans and rats here is that we have a better capacity to control aggression. Caffeine and other stimulants have also been included within literature as stimulants that lead to higher levels of aggression. But should coffee be blamed for all outbursts by coffee drinkers? It's the same concept. It also has been suggested that estrogen, in fact, is to blame for increased levels of aggression. Testosterone, on the other hand, makes males feel more positive and more motivated. Misinformation is skewing the truth. Controlled human studies should be performed in order to put to bed all of the myths and fallacies that surround anabolic steroid use, and in order to take away the stigma associated with the use. Anabolic steroids have their place within sports and other recreations, but just like any other drug, they should not be abused. Steroid use should be completely legal, but should be administered correctly by a professional who knows what they're doing to avoid injury. And that concludes my speech. Thank you guys for listening.